The greatest pleasure in my life thus far that I didn't even know existed until recently is the presence that comes with being utterly calculable to yourself, the way Nietzsche described in one of his essays, right? So most recently, it's been cutting out. For a while now, I've cut out the vices in my life. Things like I don't eat sugar, I don't watch movies or TV shows at home, and so initially that was making me bored. But then very quickly that boredom turned into crazy productivity, because when you're bored and you don't have vices to escape life with, then what remains is just a natural productivity, like your natural curiosity, natural passion for doing things. Because humans enjoy work. Studies show this, the right kind of work. We are made for work, because all of life is contragrade. It's entropy. And so humans were made to stave off entropy. We like that kind of work. Anyways, that's getting carried away. But yeah, so when you're calculable to yourself in this way, when you have utter faith in yourself that yourself will get the things done, when you're doing everything that you can, when you're doing everything that should be done, then what remains is presence. It's enjoyment. It's contentment. It's having jokes, making jokes, having a bit of fun. Like here, I'm having this cup of coffee, and I'm not stressing. There's no need to worry. I don't worry anymore. No matter what shit is going on, whatever shitstorm is going on in my life, there's such a deep compartmentalization that exists now between this moment, wherever I'm at, and that other self who will take care of business when he gets to it, right? There's that faith in myself. I am calculable to myself in that way. And apart from cutting out the vices, what initially started me on this path to this higher order paradigm was as a millwright, as a millwright apprentice, constantly walking into situations where all hell is breaking loose, the whole fucking world is ending, and I'm expected to somehow fix the machines or whatever. And so I developed this ability, and it's like it gets developed more and more as I work this trade. It's this ability of not pre-thinking, not ruminating, not thinking about what's to come. Because there's a faith in myself that, like, what comes, and I'll just ride out the situation. Like, everything is time delimited. Every stressor, everything you experience in life is time delimited. As in, you will ride it out. You will get it. Like, the day will end. The work day will end, right? So when you're there, you're there. And then when I'm here, right? So that compartmentalization, I think is... I think as you become more successful as a person, you realize, as you become a person that gets things done, then there's no earthly need to worry. There's no rationalization to worry about anything. Because I have a faith in myself, right? That when I'm there, I'll get it done. I'll work on it. I'll do the things that I can do. The things that I can do, I will do them. Right? And because of that, it frees me now to be utterly present and just be here in the moment, wherever I'm at. And I used to envy that. I used to think about, these long-time workers in the trade, all these mechanics. Like, how is it that despite working such a hard job, encountering all these stressors, working in a shitty environment or whatever it is, working a shit situation, how is it that they're able to be so jocular, to have these, just to be so present and mirthful, enjoy themselves in the moment, make jokes with coworkers, to make friends, so on. I envied that. I wanted that ability, but I didn't know what was the key to that. I didn't know what was behind that, and now I know. It's like I'm there. It's very interesting. And yeah, this is a higher order kind of truth, that a higher order paradigm that I didn't even know existed, right? It's like a while back I was listening to Jeff Bezos in an interview saying that you only really experience stress when you're not doing the things that should be done. When you're doing the things that should be done, there is no real stress, right? And back then I wasn't able to buy into that paradigm, because I myself was in such a low frequency state. Like, my own headspace, my own understanding of the world, I wasn't calculable to myself. So how could I understand that somebody else could be, that kind of peace existed, that kind of presence existed on the other side of that, when you have faith in yourself to naturally do the things that need to be done. I had no intimations, no understanding. How could I ever clue into that higher order truth? How? It's not possible, right? Until you're there, right? So it's like, yeah, it's like I just never clued into I had no idea that this presence, this kind of peace existed on the other side of all the things that need to be done, right? That I wasn't getting done. And so it's a interesting paradox now that that even as my life stressors increase, even though there's more shit that goes wrong, I'm handling more, there's more responsibility. Even as all this goes up, I am more at peace. I am more present now than ever before. It's crazy. Whereas before, despite all the worrying, all the rumination, all the mental stress, the headaches, the fucking anxiety, all the mental health issues, all that in my head, and yet whatever world I was inhabiting, there was nothing really there going on compared to the shit that's going on now. So the level of your worry and the shit that's going on out in the external world, the two are not necessarily correlated at all. In fact, there's an inverse correlation, if anything. Yeah. So there's such a deep presence, guys. There's such a deep presence, a deep peace that exists on the other side of being calculable to yourself, on the other side of the faith in yourself that gets things done. And you can have that faith in yourself when you safeguard your energetic state, when you get rid of the vices, right? If you have to live in worry that any given day you're going to binge, or you're going to be watching TV shows, you're going to masturbate, or whatever the fuck, and that is going to derail your productivity, if you have to live in that fear, then yes, of course you're going to worry, right? You're going to worry about your capacity to get things done. But if you get rid of those vices, you eliminate the things that stand in the way of you naturally getting things done, because that is your birthright. That is the way you are. We have been built that way to get things done. What's keeping us is the shit we put into our bodies and stuff, like the shitty influences we surround ourselves with, the sugar, right? The insulin spikes, the crashes in your productivity, the movies and shows, because all these things trigger your dopamine system in an artificial way that's too high. What I clued into this when I was looking at cocaine in one of my classes. Like, I don't know if it was 600 times or 600% the level of dopamine increase when you take cocaine. So when you experience that kind of dopaminergic increase, how the fuck is anything regular in your life going to compete with that, right? So of course, natural things aren't going to cut it. You're not going to want to do anything anymore, really, right? Because how can anything compete with the dopaminergic spike of cocaine, right? But we have all this research with drugs and shit, but we don't extrapolate, we don't connect it to even more regular quotidian little things like music, that our choice of music, our choice of food, our choice of the shows and movies we choose to distract ourselves with. Even all these things are these highly palatable distractions. Regular life cannot compete dopaminergically with these things. So you're better off cutting these things out so that your natural dopamine connects itself again, reconnects itself with the real life doing things, right? And the hard part is that initially it really, really, really fucking sucks, because you have to be there, you have to be present, even when you're having a humdrum day or something. You can't just escape, you can't just run away from it. Running away from it is what keeps you from building the skills to deal with it. You're only just staving off the problem, pushing it more and more into the future when you don't sit there and be there with the problem. And I'm not saying that you have to be there for the problem, because I don't agree necessarily that you should be using negative emotions and stuff to propel your way forward. I think there's a way. I'll talk about this in a future way. Like, I believe in the broaden and build theory of positive emotions and stuff. Like, I think there is a and actually my dad was saying this earlier today, and I really resonated with this idea that you can let positive emotions propel you towards broadening your behavioral repertoire. It doesn't have to come with negative emotions, negative feedback. You can use positive emotions, positive feedback. But anyways, that's for another video. yeah, I've made my point in this video. Let's just have this coffee.